Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Back to Bed. This is another one. Go to the settings menu real fast and we can see just some pretty basic stuff. Some cross saves, some languages and some control mapping. We've also got the sound control over here, but of course we'll have to leave that on. You've got credits there, but let's just go into the level select immediately. So this game's a lot like other puzzler games that have shown up on Vita, where you've got the first bunch of levels are basically tutorials, and then you unlock a special nightmare mode, which lets you play harder versions of the same levels that... well, yeah, that's pretty much all they are. Harder versions of the same levels. So, we're just going to run back to about where I'm up to right now, number 4. Now, just so you know, these two I finished in under 2 hours. So, that's like an hour and a half, I think is more accurate. And there are like 30 levels here, and you can't go into the next level without having beaten the previous one. So you have to beat all 30 in a row for the first hour and a half. And the puzzles themselves are actually relatively easy. While these ones do definitely get harder, it's still worth noting that instead of actually like challenging the player, the only places I really got stuck was when I needed to stand on the apple, and I didn't realize I could stand on the apple. The puzzles were actually really easy, and I figured them out in a couple of minutes apiece. But anyway, here we are. So this is Bob. Bob is a narcoleptic sleepwalker, which seems like a terrible combination of conditions when you think about it. But the idea is we are Bob. I think that's his name. I think that's what the cutscene said. But yeah, either way, we have to guide Bob to his bedroom. We have to guide Bob to his bedroom, and in the first 30 levels you only have to guide him there, but in these new levels we have to go and collect these keys. So if he falls off the edge of these buildings or gets hit by something that'll wake him up, well, he'll get woken up and he'll have a surprise heart attack or something. So the idea is we have to go and grab objects in order to block his way and direct him down the right path. So, how do we plan on doing this? Well, I'm going to put this apple down here, and he'll get redirected to the north. He always turns clockwise. He never turns any direction that isn't clockwise. So, he's always going to make a right turn here, and then he's probably going to turn around and head right back. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm actually going to want to hold this key. And, nope. Actually, hold on. I'm going to want to put this down here. And then when he turns, pick it up and immediately put it back down in front of him. Too late. Down he goes. And we lost the keys, so we have to collect the keys again. There is a fast forward button, as you can see, just easily accessed by holding the R button. There is also the L button, which does something. I'll be damned if I remember what it is. You can also use the right analog stick to zoom the camera out if you need to, although you can only bring it up to here, which I find to be a bit odd. But nevertheless, so we're going to have to convince him to get that key, aren't we? Well, if I put this down here and then immediately put it down here... Nope, he's going off the edge again. There you go, Bob. And we put this down here so he goes and gets the key. So this is pretty much the game. Hang on. I put this... Nope, hang on. Nope. Okay, he's turned. Put that down there. And then put it down here. A lot of the puzzles do tend to actually devolve into that. Into this sort of... making sure you've got the right obstacles down at the right time. It's a bit more of a reaction test. I mean, there are puzzles that do require a fair amount of logical thinking, and it is possible to get stuck for a little bit, but I found, as I said before, I find myself getting stuck on things that I don't really know about, which is a little bit strange. Like, I had no freaking idea that I was actually capable of standing on the apple in order to get something off a wall. It was a bit of a strange little incident, and... well, I did figure it out eventually, but it was a bit of a pain. And down it goes again. Hang on. I'm going to put this here. That's not going to do anything. So we're going to have to send him back along this same thing here in order to get that second key. Well, first thing I want to do is I want to try and get him that first key. So let's... alright, we'll bounce it back there. Now, we take this apple and put it here, and he'll immediately do a 180-degree turn. But yeah, this is basically the whole game. I mean, There are other obstacles later on, obviously, that... God damn it. There are other obstacles later on that do increase the game's level of how much you can screw with your head. Like, this whole... I don't remember who the artist was that created this. And I feel bad now, because I'm usually pretty good at that sort of useless trivia. But... this whole art style based around that classic painter whose name I can't bloody remember is actually quite gorgeous. And it can serve to create some really, really mystifying problems that you need to think about in the context of the game's universe. Which is actually a somewhat nice thing, but at the same time it can also be infuriating when you're like, oh wait, I could do that? Hang on. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it! Alright, we'll have to try that again. And I will admit, the art style is quite gorgeous, but my... oh, god damn it. No, 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 no. I hate this. See, I really hate having to move all these obstacles around so much, because you just have to be constantly just moving back and forth, and you can't just sit back, relax, and let him figure out the puzzle by himself. It's literally just, you have to be constantly running back and forth with it. It's not as big of a deal as I'm making out, and I just screwed up, because I forgot to do the one important step. It's not as big of a deal as I'm making out, and this is actually really nice art style, but the problem with it is that I'm simply not paying much attention to it because I'm too busy focused on the puzzles. I think maybe if the game gave you a little bit more of an opportunity to sit back, relax, and look at the art style, it'd be great, but since you're constantly having to move Bob around, it's just a bit of a pain to have to, you know, it's a bit of a pain to look at the environment at the same time that you're trying to solve puzzles in it. Wait for it, put that down there, and he's in. I think I'll skip forward a couple of levels after this next one if nothing new appears, because there is a bunch of other obstacles that you need to avoid, but they all have the same basic outcome, which I think is a little disappointing. Alright, yeah. We'll do this one puzzle, and then we'll move along, and then we'll go and select a later level. I really don't know what that means. They really do try and screw with you on this game. In this game, I should say, you're not on this game. Nevertheless, put that down there, and we should immediately reverse. We want to put this down here, so he grabs that key. Then we want to put this here. So that... oh, no we don't! No we don't! Crap. We're screwed. Down he goes. At least the game actually moves really fast and lets you test out all your puzzle solutions, which is a... well, not all your puzzle solutions, but you can test your solutions out very quickly, which is a nice plus. And the environment and art style and all that is all also quite enjoyable to look at. What the hell do I do there? Alright, I'll figure it out. I'm actually pretty stupid, but these puzzles aren't... these puzzles do actually have a nice difficulty curve. I mean, it doesn't immediately get stupid hard when you're... it doesn't immediately get stupid hard when you go from the regular levels to the nightmare levels, which is a nice touch because a fair few games do that, but this game has been ramping up the difficulty slowly but surely, and it is quite nice despite the fact that it's actually really easy for about an hour and a half. And I mean, I'm stupid, so I'm calling this easy because I'm stupid, and I managed to solve most of these just fine. We'll move on. Oh, actually, portal. So we can actually have a look at some portals now. Now, these portals are... they're actually pretty self-explanatory, but nevertheless. Whoops, he's going back in the other direction. Down he goes. That's all. Okay, I'm going to want to put that down there, so he'll move down and collect that key, and I want to have this clockwise here. The puzzles themselves... there are lots of other enemies to deal with, and the puzzles themselves are definitely enjoyable. It's not like... the game doesn't massively screw you over in any sense of the... god damn it. The game doesn't tend to screw you over with its mechanics very often. And that doesn't go there. Okay, we'll just let him run around in a circle for a bit so I can figure out what the hell I'm doing. Alright, down here. Then you go get that. While I go and put this down here. The puzzles, they all make sense, and there aren't that many things that are like, oh, I didn't even really know that existed. There is one thing like that, and I will tell you about that right now. It's when you've got something up on a wall, stand on the apple, and you'll be able to get it. That's pretty much the only thing that I got stuck on in terms of not knowing the game's mechanics. And that's relatively a minor thing, and you'll figure it out after a few minutes. Otherwise, the game itself is actually pretty straightforward, and the puzzles themselves do take some time to work out. It's not like you'll be able to get this like immediately. Oh great, I just put him back on the bloody clockwise rotation. Great. How am I supposed to get that key? Think about it. If he comes up here, he can't go through that. And so if I put that there, now he's going to advance through that portal. So if I put this here, he'll have no choice but to turn for the key. Or he'll just come wandering right back. But that we can actually work with. Because now he will not be turning in the direction that I want. God damn it. And we're back to this again. Alright, I'm going to swap levels. And I'll move to something a little later on in the nightmare levels. Just because my brain will hopefully work fairly well with this. The game's loading times aren't that bad either. We'll go... This'll do. There are other enemies that run around. Like there's dogs that constantly run in a square. There's holes in the floor. And there are train tracks, which if you step on them, will immediately bring along a wild train. We don't have to deal with them right now. We've also got these things, which are... They basically just push Bob. The problem with some of these enemies is that if they touch Bob, you have to restart the puzzle from all over at the beginning. It's like, you might have been paying attention and noticed that Bob, when he falls off the edge of these puzzles, he immediately spawns back at the start of the game, or the start of the puzzle, and he just, you know, goes along his merry way again, which is... you know, is convenient considering you can just fast forward and... Considering you can just fast forward, have him fall off the edge, and just start the whole puzzle again. Can't actually put the apple down here, what the hell. But for enemies, it doesn't actually do that for some reason that I have not been able to figure out. It just immediately brings up the retry screen, and you have to hit retry in order to restart the entirety of the puzzle. I'm not going to do this puzzle, because this puzzle is probably going to break my brain. Probably should have skipped ahead, probably should have skipped backwards. So I think I'll be skipping a little bit backwards. I'm not very good at puzzle games, if you didn't notice. Sound design's pretty good too, admittedly. Although the snoring tends to get on my nerves a bit. The music is really nice, and it does create a really calm and chill atmosphere. And it is a really weird art style. I just wish I had more of an opportunity to stop and observe it, instead of having to just figure out all these puzzles. But anyway. So, we have Bob, and we have this dog here. Now, we can actually tell this dog...
Dog is not your friend.
We can actually get this dog to... See what happens when he touches an enemy? The retry screen comes up, so you actually have to go to retry before you can try the puzzle again. And considering that when you just fall off, you just immediately get put right back at start, it's a little bit of a weird disconnect between the two. It's kind of annoying, but nevertheless, it's not that big of a deal. It's a neat puzzle game. I don't have that much against it, really. Actually, that's a lie. I have one major thing against this game, and that is the price. You know how much this game costs? Some of you might be expecting 10 bucks. Some of you might be expecting 15 bucks. God damn it. I need to remember how I got that bloody dog out of here the first time. Some of you might have been expecting 10. Some of you might have been expecting 15. This game's base price is $20. Too much. Just way too much. In my personal opinion, that's way too much. You do get a 20% discount if you buy it in the launch week, which brings it down to 16, but even then, that's really a bit much for this.
God is not.
I'm not going to say it's not an enjoyable game, because it's definitely not, it's definitely not enjoyable, it's definitely not intelligent, and it is possible to have a fair amount of fun with this game, at the very least. God damn it. What did I do to get him out? It's definitely enjoyable. I'm enjoying it. It's just $20. I mean, Jesus, guys. I mean, the game's got 60 puzzles in it, and to be fair, 60 puzzles is going to take a pretty fair amount of time to solve, considering the game's mechanics, but it's just, like, guys, $20 for something that'll only last a few hours is a little bit much. At least that's what I think. I think it'd do a lot better if it was $10. Like, was Velocibox $10? I think it was. But yeah, it's just a bit much. It's well designed, it's well presented, and still just entirely overpriced for what it is. In my personal opinion, it's completely overpriced for what it is. Anyway, we've got the dog out of the way now, so we can just let him just continue off the edge while we go and take care of everything else, because that dog won't go down those stairs again. That dog's got no way to get back to us, so we can just put that down and find the way to direct this guy right into it, which really isn't that hard when you give it a couple of seconds thought. It's a very silly game when you think about it, but yeah, the story is actually kind of strange. Bob is, yeah, as I said, an narcoleptic sleepwalker who walked out onto a window and was suddenly transported into a fantasy land. They'll give him heart attacks if he's woken up by anything that's even remotely hostile. And yet, for some reason, he can fall off the edge of the world and then survive just fine. I'll do this puzzle and then I'll call this video to an end. Because I actually kind of like this puzzle. It's really clever. Because we have to put the apple down in order to get him to rotate. But then we've got to take it off the ground in order to get him to keep moving along the winds. And we have to repeat this until he's facing in the right direction. Then we block his way. And to the exit he goes. Very simple puzzle, but it's actually quite nice. And the game's got a few nice puzzles like that. One more puzzle. Rounded up to an even 20 minutes. So yeah, it's a nice game. Well presented. Cool idea. Good set of obstacles to work with. Just might be a bit much for, well, anyone. In my opinion, honestly. $20 is just insane for this sort of game. Oh yeah, this puzzle. This took me a while last time. Thanks for the very obvious hint. We can actually do something with this, though. We can actually send this... Well, I thought we could send this dog... Wait. Now we put this here, and we send that dog back along there, and then we take the... No, we don't take the apple, we take the fish. Put this down here. Now we've got those 3 dogs over there, and we actually need that second bridge, so I better go get that second bridge. Thankfully, these guys don't hurt us, it only hurts Bob. Still a little strange, but whatever. So, I get Bob to... Never mind, fast forward. We get Bob walking across this bridge, and we put down the apple right here, so that these dogs will immediately turn around and let Bob on the way through to his destination. And these levels are obviously changed in the nightmare mode with multiple keys to go get, so... Yeah, the game's got depth and it's got a fair amount of length to it, but I still think $20 is just a tiny bit much for it. 15 would be a lot more acceptable and $10 would be great, in my personal opinion. 20 just seems like a bit much to me. But then again, you've seen the game in action and you know what you're getting. So, if you're willing to spend $20 on it, or 16 if you're on PlayStation Plus, go right ahead. This has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.